Once upon a time, there was a little engine who worked at a colliery in Britain. The engine mostly just shunted trucks all day. However, this little engine's presence at the colliery would soon be taken over by diesels. The engine was soon told that he was going to be sold to a railway in the US. The engine was shocked by this, however, it didn't matter as the engine would be going to the US. Soon the engine was loaded off at the docks. The engines in the US were much more different than the ones in the UK. The engines had much big driving wheels compared to him, and a weird triangle thing on the front of them. The little engine asked, "What is that on the front of you?" "Oh, this right here? This is called a cow catcher. It usually catches cows and puts them off of the line so that way we don't run them over." "Oh, so will I need one of those?" "Yeah, you're gonna need one of those. You might hurt a cow and make it, I don't know, die or something. I don't know why we have these, to be honest, but it's mostly because of cows and stuff." "Well, okay." "However, you little pretty boy, you're gonna be actually going to a preservation railroad. That won't happen to me for a long time." "Why will I be going to a preservation railroad?" "Because they like you British engines. However, we aren't gonna have to change your couplings." And that's what happened a few days later. His couplings were now American couplings to fit the knuckle couplers of America. Him and his new rake of coaches were soon sent down to a preservation railway. His new owner was much nicer than the one who had worked at the colliery who had replaced him with a diesel. You'll be a great engine for our little railway here, you and your nice new coaches." "I sure can't wait, sir. I like working here so far, and you will in the future. We even added buffers to your coaches." "Great. Well, you better get off now. There's some passengers waiting at the station." The engine soon moved away. The little engine loved working around in the yards, hauling the coaches of passengers. For his owner was growing old. He couldn't run the railway for longer. He couldn't run the railway for much longer. "I'm sorry, little engine. I can't run this railway for much longer. I have to focus on my health for right now." "That's all right, sir. Just please, will you get another person?" "I'll try to." Soon the worker left. The owner left. The little engine sat at the platform waiting for either a new owner or his other owner to come back. However, the little engine sat in the yards for years and years, just sitting there waiting. Soon, a few years later, the locomotive was rusted. Soon, a few years later, the little locomotive's wheels were rusted, and soon, not long after, a diesel locomotive coupled up to him and took him away to the yards for an auction. Soon, once in the yards, the man was shouting out numbers to people. The people started shouting numbers back. He didn't know why he was there to hear them shouting out random numbers. He just wanted to go back to his little railway with his owner. However, that wouldn't happen for a very long time, for much longer. As soon, a new owner had gotten him, and this time a different diesel came and got him on a flatbed. Soon the diesel pushed the flatbed and got him on it and pushed him away. The little engine soon sat behind the station. He had felt sad now, clearly knowing now that his owner wouldn't come back for him. He was placed behind a random station as he heard diesel engines roam outside. And soon not longer his coaches were sold, leaving now with just himself on a slowly rusting flatbed. That was the last thing he had from his old owner, was those coaches. Now he was just sitting there abandoned, wondering what would happen to him next. The forever abandonment of this point was hurting him. He just wanted to be a part of a railway, like he had originally was for all those years ago. Not a part of a dusty colliery with a terrible owner, but his little preservation railway that his owner had with him. But now he just sat in the yards, wanting to have a home. As he was sleeping one day, a diesel engine came to couple up to him and took him away. He didn't know as he was sleeping. However, he did wake up then, as now he was at the docks that he had been loaded onto the rails all those years ago, talking to that other steam locomotive. Soon, not long after, a crane lifted him up and put him on a boat. At this point, he didn't know what was happening. All he knew was that he was on a boat heading somewhere on the ocean. All he knew next was that he was being loaded off right next to a blue engine and a smartly dressed man. The man said, "Hello, I am Sir Topham Hatt, and this is my engine, Thomas. We came here to greet you. Are you my new owner?" "Yes, I am your new owner. I heard about your story about you being stuck in the US, rusting away as you clearly are. I decided I would save you and help you come to my railway. You'll be pulling trucks on my railway and the occasional passenger train. Wouldn't you like that?" "Yes, I would, sir. What is your name, by the ways?" "The Facon—" "Shut up, Thomas. My name is Sir Topham Hatt." But Thomas soon whispered to the engine, "But we usually call him the Fat Controller." Thomas laughed. "All right. Hello, Sir Topham Hatt." "Hello. We'll load you onto a flatbed and take you to the island of Sodor." Soon the Fat Controller got into Thomas's cab, and Thomas pulled the little engine away to the island of Sodor. While he is happy pulling trucks again and working again, if you were to ask him where he would be happy at most, he would say that little preservation railway in the US, hauling those coaches like he used to all those years ago.